Is there like,
Hi. Is this working?
oh, just wait a minute.
Okay. All right.
All right, you should be working.
Should be working. All right. We are Steve and Pat Leavitt, Stacy and Shannon's parents, and we have been asked to share our feelings and thoughts after having lost two granddaughters. I hope I can do this, but because it brings a lot of emotion to me. Since we lost Lilly 3 years ago, we've learned a lot. And when we lost Layla, we even learned more. But I want to just share a little bit about what we've learned with Layla. From the time that we were with Stacy, we learned how important it was for us to be there, for us to be present with them. And so when we heard the call, when we got the call from Shannon that something had happened to Layla, Steve and I just immediately, we packed everything up and we says, we don't know how we're going to get across the border. We just need to have faith. And so we drove an hour to the border and praying the whole time, hoping that we would receive a miracle. And we did. When we got to the border, they actually told us that I could go across because I'm an American citizen, but my husband couldn't. But after praying and waiting for about 10 minutes, things came together and they just wished us well. And we were across the border. And the second miracle came shortly after because we didn't have flights. And as we looked through the online flights, we noticed that the only ones that we could get was be Friday, and this was a Wednesday. And so we needed another miracle. And shortly after it happened, we were able to get 2 flights for the next day. And we were able to get into Tampa that night and be with them for the last few hours of her life. And when we were there, I didn't know what to say. I just kept saying, gotta have faith. And as we prayed and as we were there just taking care of things as they came, I felt that I wouldn't be able to see Layla at all. But another miracle happened. All 4 of us were able to be there right before she passed away. And that was a real miracle. But as we were there, I felt, what can I do? What can I say that will take some of this pain away from my daughter? And I had the same feeling with Stacy when she lost Lilly. But you know, never having lost anyone so close, I was speechless. I didn't know. I just hugged. And we were just there. And that was one of the things I felt was most important, that we are there. We don't have answers. We hurt, but in a different way. And but after it happened, we were so astonished with the amount of love. And we were so grateful that people loved our children so much that they brought cards and gifts. Talents that they had were shown in so many ways. And as a mother, so grateful, so very grateful for the people, good people that surrounded Shannon and Stacy and their families at the time of their loss.
Okay, I'll go on a bit. My wife makes me emotional, so I hope I'll be okay here, but I thought I would just talk a little more about our experience with Layla and then go on a little about our other granddaughter, Lilly. But it is hard with two granddaughters passing. But I remember when we got the call from Shannon that her daughter was in the swimming pool accident, and I just was so engaged that we had to leave right then, and we did. And my wife explained all the miracles that we had to get through the border and to get there, and so we know that the Lord was there with us, helping us. And I really feel the greatest thing that could really come to us was to spend time with Shannon and Josh and the children. And I know they were grateful that we got there when we did and as soon as we did. And so I think any relatives of siblings, or if you have friends that have similar experiences, I think just the time and the service you can give to them really help, because that's really what helped Shannon and Josh and Stacy and Josh, I know, because we witnessed that, and it helped us too. So, did you have anything else you want to say about Layla before I talk about Lilly? Okay, so with Lilly, my wife and I just went on a mission to St. Lucia in the Caribbean, and we came home in August, and we had all our family there. We had a little trial before this. My wife had fallen off a step at a church, and she'd fallen backwards, and she broke both of her wrists and her elbow. So she'd been in 2 casts for a month as we arrived with our family, and so that was a tough thing to go through. And then we had a beautiful time in Florida. All our family was there, and we spent time in the ocean, just having a great time together. And so I remember Stacy leaving early in the morning with her family, and her husband Josh had gone home earlier because he had to work as a dentist. And then the day went on, and my son-in-law Josh Nielsen and I were at some friends watching a fighting match on TV, and it was probably around 11 o'clock at night, and we got a call from Shannon, I believe it was, and telling us of the accident with Lilly. And all we knew was that Lilly had passed, Stacy was in critical condition in the hospital, and so was Talmadge, and so that's all we knew. So we dashed home to be with our family. We were about 10 minutes away, and I remember feeling just so angry. How could the Lord take such a beautiful girl? And, it was a hard time. But again, we used our faith, and we just tried to go on, and a lot of prayer. But we left the next day to go with Stacy and Talmadge, who were in the hospital. And we didn't really know how Stacy would be, because her going to sleep in this accident, we just felt she might be kind of a vegetable almost, feeling so bad about it. But when we arrived at the hospital, there she was sitting up, smiling, but she had her whole side of her face was black and blue from the accident. And Talmadge was running around the hospital doing great, so that was a great blessing. But Lilly, she was just the apple of life, so happy, so joyful, 13 years of age, and to feel that she had gone, it just seemed impossible. So there was some denial, and then we went home with Stacy and Josh and some of the children, I guess all the children. And as we arrived, there were just amazing people that had mowed their lawns. They had food all over the table. And they had a deck they were doing. People were there to help with the deck, and it was just amazing to see the service. And I know that was a comforting feeling to us and to them. So that was a great thing to see the great blessings that came to their family. And for us to be there with them, I know we're a great support. And over the last 3 years, we tried to be there as much as we can. In fact, last summer we were there for a few days, and then we were going to go see some friends in Illinois. And we just left the house we drove down their hill, and we just felt it was more important to be with Stacy and Josh. So we turned around and went back, spent another week with them. So we know time is so important with our children and grandchildren. Anyway, go ahead.
I know one of the things that I found that when Lilly passed was I felt so confused, so lost for what to say, what to do. And I was her mom. So, or I was Stacy's mom. And yet, that feeling of not knowing was something that maybe I'll never truly understand. It just went off. We don't know why, but we're back on again. But one of the things that I wanted to just say about being a grandmother, never having had it happen to me, I've been able to see what losing a daughter or losing someone close through the eyes of my daughters. And I never did feel angry. I just felt denial and total loss. But I know that our faith and that belief in a higher power has definitely carried me a long ways. Now, one of the things that we also learned is that carrying a torch forward, or carrying a legacy from the two lives that have blessed our family. We know that the families, Stacy and Shannon's family, both have decided to unite and allow that legacy of their girls to go forward. And Stacy and Josh started it. It was a Live Like Lilly, and it was mainly geared for service, to partner with other charities and to give service and to give acknowledgement to those people and those organizations that will serve others and build and lift, because that's what these two girls did. And so the Live Like Lilly has touched many lives. And so the first gala that Stacy and Josh and their family had was in Rapid City. And so we attended, and so we wanted to do something with that in our part of the world, in Canada. And so what we decided to do is we decided we would partner with Rotary, with whom Steve is a member. And we decided that what we would do is we would bike for Lilly. And so the first bike ride that we did was 200 miles. We went from the coast of Alberta to the other boundary. So we biked across Alberta. It was 200 miles, and we did it in her name. And the money that we raised has gone to help the Indigenous reservation that is very much a part of Alberta. And my husband will talk more about that. And so that was our first year. The second year, we rode 60 miles. And then just this last year, we rode 30 miles, and my husband rode 50. But we feel that because of the lives of these two girls, that we wanted to spread the joy. And it has happened that, having been involved with the reservation project, we have seen different kiddos change from being very introverted to being happy and being excited about serving others.
So yeah, as my wife has explained, we we've really enjoyed this opportunity to raise money and to go towards this project. So the main project that we've been involved in is in with the Blood Indigenous Reserve. It's about 20 miles from where we live. And it kind of started because the Live Like Lilly Foundation started a service organization in a school in Rapid City. So we approached the local schools. There wasn't much interest, so we approached the leaders, the superintendent, the principal of the school out on the reservation, and they seemed interested. So we used this money in conjunction with the Rotary, and we were able to raise $10,000, and that was used for the service club. And so we met with about 20 to 30 students that are in grades 6, 7, and 8, and they came up with their ideas. So some of the things we've done is we've done hampers at Christmas time for the needy. We have also done the opportunity to gather clothes for the homeless. We've been able to plant trees for some of the people that have passed away. And it's just been a super opportunity to lift the lives of these young people. So I'm just so happy that we've been able to do this. Another thing that we have done is they started what they called a lookup ad.
Now these lookup ads were something that Stacy and Josh started in Rapid City, and we thought, what a great idea. So what I did was, or what we did was, I went to Cardston Junior High, and also Raymond and McGrath and Sterling, 4 schools within our division. And I asked them if there would be any interest. And there were some students that actually participated, and it was wonderful. There was the winner was in, one was in Raymond, another one was in Cardston, another one was in McGrath. And these students, and also, yes, also there was one winner from the Blood Tribe from the middle school there. So there were 4 winners, and each there were 2 that were first place, and that was one from the Blood Tribe, and then also the other one was from a local middle school, and we were able to put their entry up on a billboard, and it was there for a month. And it was so wonderful because kids recognized who these people were, because they knew that this was some of their peers that had created this. So it was a great opportunity.
So what we've learned from all this is when hardships like this come, we can become reserved and inward and not even get out and talk to people about it. But we admire our daughters and their husbands, so for starting this Live Like Lilly Foundation, now with Layla, it's Love Like Layla, and the real theme is to see good, do good, and share good. And that goes along with the Rotary, which is service above self. And so working together with an organization like this, we've been able to really impact a lot of people, but more importantly, it impacts our lives to give us the opportunity to move forward. And so our experience that we would share is if you have life experiences where you lose loved ones, especially young people that you wonder why, take the high road, not the low road. Look for ways you can serve others and it'll bless your lives. And I know Shannon and Josh, Stacy and Josh, they've done things recently such as having blankets and clothes for those in hospitals, and this month they're doing baskets for those on the front lines in healthcare, the nurses, the firemen, and those things. So I don't know, there's just a lot of great initiatives that are coming out of this, and we know that our 2 little granddaughters, Lilly and Layla, they're still around us. They're happy of what's going on, and we're happy that we can be a part of that.
And one more thing, I think the thing is that when we see good, do good, and share good, we feel good inside. And knowing that we honor not just us, but anybody, like my husband said, we can honor those who have gone before us by doing anything, by lifting people, by just being kind out there, and we honor them. But thank you very much.
Thank you, and hopefully you can share this.
Bye.
Bye.